If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Ladies and gentlemen, the most epic hater comment feud in the history of mankind, all revolving around the giver. This one-star reviewer on GoodReads wrote a pretty long review, a well-written review about the giver, and it exploded. It created a huge backlash with hundreds of comments, and it all began like this. Keely writes,
"So I suppose my argument is that the author herself does not have enough philosophical or rhetorical knowledge to express new ideas, and instead relies on cheap allegory and metaphor to present an unfounded and unoriginal case."
Kathleen writes,
"I'm sorry, but as a teacher of literature and a deeply read person myself, I find your arguments rather thin and ill-informed."
Keely replies,
"I'm not sure what I have done to become the outlet of your built-up literary vitriol, but I suppose that dealing with those maddening children with a strong intellect of some sort has made me an obvious outlet. I don't care what your opinion is as a teacher of literature or deeply read person. The opinion of a human being is sufficient as long as it is well supported. Of course, there is always the hypocrisy of setting yourself above someone else and then taking an anti-intellectual stance against them. One of these days, you may have to choose one or the other."
Kathleen replies,
"But dude, it's a children's book, and children's themes are often simplified explorations of larger, more frightening issues. I just thought your critique was pompous and rather out of scale. Looking at all of this that you've written, I'll again add hilarious."
Keely replies,
"I'm of the belief that all literature be judged on the same scale. This goes doubly for children's literature, which I believe is much more difficult to write well than adult, and hence shouldn't be a haven for watered-down or oversimplifying authors. Children are more wonderful and capable than people give them credit for. I'm glad that someone who is charged with the process of educating them thinks mental expansion and learning is best achieved by things dismissed as, dude, just a children's book. Hopefully the responses to your forays will be well thought and fully explained and not devolve into the sort of ad hominem troll baiting which so dreadfully fills up internet forums."
Kathleen replies,
"Thank you for saying so many things that I was both too riled and too harried to say, or perhaps I was thinking too shallowly."
Keely replies,
"Thanks for the info. There are always people who are upset when they can't vote me down. Now I can ensure that all my votes are deserved and not the product of confusion."
Alex writes,
"I can only imagine that you have no children, or that you understand them very little. Sorry.
Keely replies,
Perhaps that is why our children grow into avoidant adults who cannot manage their own lives and money, who detest any sort of work, and who break down at the thought of the future or economy."
Jim writes,
His posts stink of troll, the internet variety. He calls the giver didactic. This struck me as not really understanding the word. I thought maybe I don't understand the word, so I did some checking. Nope. Keely needs to go back to school and pay better attention. Here's a typical definition, didactic, from Britannica, of literature or other art intended to convey instruction and information.
Keely replies,
Trolling is a pointless and joyless endeavor. I've not come to disrupt any classroom, and you may do well to recall that I did not impose myself upon you, but that you have come to impose yourself over my expression. No one made you read my review. You may also want to ask yourself next time whether it is reasonable to critique someone if you have to look up their main points in the dictionary.
Jim replies,
As a short novel intended for tender young minds, The Giver will necessarily be limited as to setting and character development. Simplistic is also an important, even necessary attribute for a juvenile short story. A child should crawl before she walks or runs, except for the rare child. Surely Keely was one of them. Children in general should be regarded as incapable of processing the complex. Before any of us forget, extreme collectivism leads to extreme and perverse murder. Hitler, Nazi Germany, 1933 to 1945, 12 million plus citizens and non-Germans murdered.
Keely replies,
Curious how you always refer to me in the third person. This tendency could come off as somewhat insulting, in the same way as it is rude to talk about someone else who is in the room. Perhaps you mean to appeal to some imagined coterie of supporters, lending you a sort of royal we to an implied readership. I'd like to congratulate you for so quickly acceding to Godwin's law and introducing a reductio ad Hitlerum to this discussion. If you put a child in a room with a single coin, he will certainly find it. If you put him in a maze of treasures, he may not find them all, but he will certainly profit more than a coin's worth. There are works which engage children on this level, and which continue to engage us as adults, because the hubris of imagining ourselves somehow more insightful or more reasonable as adults than as children is already the death of our own joy and discovery. I have met the insightful and brilliant at every age, from 6 to 60.
Tim replies,
I read this to my 5th grade class, and every year it is chosen as the class favorite. It won the Newbery for Best Book of Children's Literature the year it came out. Many see something that you do not. You should dig deeper in this simple book.
Keely replies,
I didn't realize that populism and awards politics were the road to education. All this time I've been seeking out little-known and experimental works when I should have been pursuing the edification of my mind by reading the popular The Da Vinci Code and watching the award-winning Titanic. Here I had assumed that children often got entranced by repetitive formulaic stories and self-justifying morals. But perhaps it wasn't children who championed the popularity of the Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, Pokemon, and Hannah Montana, but perhaps those are the great thought-provoking masterpieces of our time.
Tim retaliates.
You are choosing to criticize a book written for older children. For this particular audience, it is a wonderful book. Kids reading this for the first time encounter some ideas that are completely new to them. They examine issues which they never have examined before. It makes them think, and that is what makes this a special book. Your attack on popular fiction or popular entertainment is silly and unnecessary. Obviously, something that is popular doesn't make it great. A revelation from you is unnecessary.
Keely responds.
A revelation from you is unnecessary. It's frightening and saddening that this is the sentiment we get from someone who is meant to be a teacher, especially of children. I'm not one of your students, and I'm not going to accept your opinions as authority. If you want to be taken seriously, you have to earn it. Yet you attack me for being self-righteous.
Diana intervenes.
As for some of the back and forth comments on this page, everyone's entitled to his or her opinion, and it's obvious that some have spent quite a bit of free time on this, but it seems like a lot of missing the forest for the trees.
Keely replies.
No, everyone is not entitled to say whatever they want. Opinions, like anything else, must be earned. If someone told me all women should be whipped, I wouldn't say, I guess you're entitled to your opinion. I would ask them how they could possibly defend what they said. Just imagine how much you could have learned from a better book.
Sarah replies.
This book is intended for children and should be reviewed for what it is. You cannot compare Run Spot Run to Pride and Prejudice. And I know that this is a bit weak for an analogy, but I don't have time to come up with a more accurate one.
Stop! You'll destroy us all.
That's no way to talk to a hero!
Don't bother to reply to this because I don't care about your opinion enough to bother. No offense is meant, but I'd rather be reading than having people force their opinions on you. Also, I don't want to waste my time on people who will refuse to listen to my ideas in any case.
Keely replies.
I didn't know you could invoke no tagbacks on GoodReads comments. It seems a bit self-centered to assume people want to hear your opinions and then refuse to entertain their response. But so be it. This response is not intended for you, but for anyone else who happens to read this thread. The fact that this book is meant for children has not only been covered before in this thread, but it is the main point of my review. If you'd rather be reading books instead of perusing reviews and commenting on them, then why are you reading my review and commenting on it?
Cynthia writes.
Wow, what a stunningly bad review. You obviously like to hear yourself type, since it took a whole rant to say you think the book was too simple and bad. But there are no examples, just a vague dismissal, and then some more pathetic rambling. I was going to read the comments, hoping for some further enlightenment, but when I saw comment after comment of more empty ranting, I gave up. Please direct your misplaced hatred somewhere else, or kindly back it up.
Keely replies.
Stunningly bad, obviously like to hear yourself type, rant, vague, pathetic. That's quite the opening foray of ad hominem attacks. Talk about misplaced hatred? Let me guess, are you a teacher? It's not that teachers are always bullies. A lot of them inspire kids instead of cowing them. However, few can beat a teacher at bullying. They learn it from the kids. Education goes both ways.
Let's finish off with a bang. Rick writes.
Keely, and all of you who hate or love this book, what we need is this kind of intelligent discussion about other important issues of today. Global warming, terrorism, the Middle East, healthcare, etc. Did you notice that rampant, unchallenged lies, propaganda, fear-mongering, and conspiracy theories are replacing intelligent discussion in this country? Probably by design. It's time to take some of the energy and intellect on this comment thread and go after Limbo, Hannity, Beck, and Palin before this country, or even civilization as we know it, is lost. Conspiracy theories are replacing intelligent discussion in this country, probably by design. Conspiracy theories about the prevalence of conspiracy theories, the plot thickens. As for going after pundits, that seems like an even more pointless gesture than a textual analysis of the giver. Ignorance and fear-mongering aren't the end of civilization. They have always been central to it.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Please hit that like button if you enjoyed the content. Tune in next week for a new episode of Bad Reads.